Donald Trump is still reeling from the DNC, and he is lashing out at Kamala Harris. He is lashing out at Barack Obama in a new, strange way, which we'll check out later in the show. But he is also lashing out, surprisingly, at his friends at the Fox propaganda network. Yes, not even Fox is safe from Donald Trump's anger right now, as he is completely freaking out and angry at them for utterly humiliating him, which is just so funny that Donald Trump has become such a mess that even his friends over at the Fox propaganda network, Newsmax, and other right-wing outlets can't help him, can't save him, and really, they don't even want to hear him anymore. And they're trying to do him a favor by keeping Donald Trump off the air, by not playing his rallies as much or in full like they used to, because they know that the more voters hear Donald Trump, the less likely they are to vote for him, even the MAGA cult members who tune in. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button, it really goes a long way in supporting this channel. And now, before we get into Donald Trump's rage-filled attack on Fox, he's going after Fox. Let's play a little bit of the clip that has gotten him so upset.
Let me ask you this, sir. There has been a huge appeal and momentum for women voters. She's trying to pull the youth vote, the Hispanic vote, the black vote back in her direction. Polls show that she's having some success in that at this point. So what are you going to do? What's your strategy to rebuild the momentum that you had with those voters?
No, she's not having success. I'm having success. I'm doing great with the Hispanic voters. I'm doing great with black men. I'm doing great with women because women want safety. They want safety. And they don't have safety when they have somebody allowing 20 million people into our country, many of them very dangerous people. No, it's only in your eyes that they have that, Martha. We're doing very well in the polls. We're leading in most of the polls. And in the swing states, we're leading in almost every one of them.
Mr. President, let me interrupt.
The auto workers are voting for me because you're not going to have an auto industry if she gets elected. They're going to all electric cars. All electric cars are going to be made in China. And you're not going to have, you literally will not have an auto industry. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed of themselves. They sold the workers down the tubes.
So obviously at the end of that Fox interview, they were trying to cut him off. Brett Baer was trying to get Donald Trump off the line. They were tired of hearing from him, so much so that Donald Trump called into Greg Gutfeld, whose program was on after Brett Baer, just because he wanted to keep ranting. But Fox needed to get Donald Trump off the air. He was mad about that, but he was also mad, very much so, that he was being pressed by those hosts asking about Kamala Harris's success in the polls and fundraising and really any metric that we could look at. And so Donald Trump right now has a bone to pick with Fox. He is angry at them, and he attacked Brett Baer and the whole Fox propaganda network on Truth Social with this post that we're going to check out. Former President Donald Trump raged in an early morning rant at reports he called Fox News and others to trash Vice President Kamala Harris after her DNC speech, claiming they called me. The Democratic National Convention has dominated the news and cable television all week and was capped off Thursday night by a widely praised acceptance speech by Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump made several cable news appearances to trash the speech, but on Sunday morning hit back at claims he was the one seeking attention. Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, "Brett Baer of Fox News called me. I didn't call him," just prior to the Kamala convention speech, and asked me if I would like to critique her after she is finished. I agreed to do so. I thought it was non-specific and weak, with no fracking, crime, inflation, or anything else of interest even mentioned. Delivery was a C+, with far too many and speedy thank yous at the beginning. It was weird. Likewise, I didn't call other media outlets that asked me to go on. They called me. The fake news media, like often guilted Maureen Dowd of the failing New York Times, wrote incorrectly that I was making the calls. Wrong. I don't have to make calls to go on TV or anything else. They call me. It's called ratings, I guess, and I'm the ratings machine. Wow, that is one of the crazier Truth Social posts that Donald Trump has ever made, and that is really saying something. The bar is pretty high for a crazy Truth Social post for Donald Trump, and that might have passed it. And I first want to start by talking about this idea that Trump is now pushing, that the media outlets were reaching out to him to do an interview. after, I don't really buy that, considering Trump had to call Greg Gutfeld, as we talked about, after he was cut off by Bret Baier because he wanted to talk even more. Then he went on Newsmax. He was raging on Fox the next morning. And anyone like Donald Trump, who we know all they care about in the world is attention, anyone who's denying that only makes me believe even more that they want attention. And Donald Trump is, again, such a clear example of this. Every Republican attack is really just an admission of what's true about them. It's complete projection from Donald Trump when he says, oh, I don't actually care about ratings. It's Kamala Harris who does, and I'm the ratings machine, and they want attention, not me. I don't care about the attention. It's just such a mess from Donald Trump. But I think it's funny that he gave Kamala Harris a C+, as he said, on the delivery of her speech. It was such an incredible speech that even Trump can't deny that it was great. I know a C+, not an incredible grade, but he wasn't giving her an F. And I think that's pretty funny. But on the topic of ratings, obviously that's something that Donald Trump cares so much about. He wants to call himself a ratings machine, but that's not actually true. And the folks at Fox actually disproved that right here.
Vegas, and the evidence of how well she did was in cold hard facts. In ratings, Trump's favorite thing, 22% up from Donald Trump's acceptance speech, 7.2 million raised between 11 p.m. and midnight over the course of the entire week. ActBlue says over $100 million came in for Democratic candidates, organizations. There was a panel of undecided Pennsylvania voters, a focus group, 8 of them in there. 6, after watching the speech, are now going with Kamala Harris. Those are all hard facts that show that she did a really good job. We know about the enthusiasm being up. We know about the polls going in her direction.
The only person that we ever like to hear from Fox News, Jessica Tarlov, absolutely shutting down Donald Trump's his claim to fame, I guess, that he's the ratings machine. The only thing that he really cares about in this world besides himself, ratings and crowd size and enthusiasm, obviously something he has been beaten badly in. All of those metrics, which I would say aren't the most significant, but they're not, I wouldn't say they're insignificant either, because of course we do want more people tuning in to watch Kamala Harris, to listen to her message, but it's also important because when she's besting Donald Trump in ratings and crowd size, it really starts to push his buttons. And the more self-destructively he acts, the better it is for Democrats. The more he unravels and makes posts like this on Truth Social and makes strange attacks on Kamala Harris or even Barack Obama now he's going after in his stump speech. Again, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. The more he is showing how unfit he is to be president. And as I mentioned, Trump is now including attacks on Barack Obama in his stump speech. I don't know what year who he thinks it is or who he thinks he's running against. He also still attacks President Biden. So I guess it's just the anger pouring out of him. But Maggie Haberman, a journalist for CNN who is incredibly close to Donald Trump, detailed the ways in which Barack Obama has really gotten under his skin. And I want to listen to that right here.
So both of the Obama speeches got under his skin. He is very reactive to both of them. We have seen that since 2011 when Trump spread the lie that President Obama was not was possibly born in Kenya and therefore illegitimate to be president. I think you're going to see more of this. What I was struck by, Wolf, in this convention is there was a pretty focused message about Trump, and we heard it over and over again from the Obamas, from the vice president, from others, that he is a rich guy who cares about his rich friends. But what you also saw were comments that I think were designed to bait Trump. That was one of them. The more that Trump reacts self-destructively, the better Democrats feel it is for them.
And so I think it's great that we keep pushing Donald Trump's buttons and he responds, because you can't do that to Kamala Harris. You can't bait her into an attack on Donald Trump that gets her off message, because she doesn't care what he has to say. She is locked in and focused on the future. And that is not true of Donald Trump. He is focused on the past and grievance and anger, and that is obvious in this clip.
Barack Hussein Obama. He was nasty to me. He was nasty. Michelle was nasty. They're all nasty.
I really hope to see, and I'm excited to see, because I think he will be, Barack Obama out on the campaign trail even more for Vice President Kamala Harris, and all that's going to come of that for Donald Trump, how distracted he will be in this campaign, because as we've said before, even when Donald Trump is focused, when he's talking about whatever policy it is that he's lying about, because of course his real policy and agenda is Project 2025, but his advisors don't want him talking about that. No matter what he says, it's destructive to him, it seems. At least that's pointed out in polling, but especially these personal attacks, these ramblings, it's just, we're tired of it. We've talked about it on this show so much. Aren't we tired of the same old Donald Trump shtick, the complaining, the grievance, the anger, the blah? We don't need it anymore. I'm tired of it. And I hope you are too. I hope America is too. I hope we are ready to move on from it. And if you are, and you want to be a part of this movement, calling it out every single day, make sure to hit that subscribe button, to leave a like on this video. And if you want to go another step further in supporting us, you can click that join button and become a monthly member. The support really goes a long way. And speaking of support, if you're supporting this channel and you're watching till the end, make sure to drop a blue heart in the comments so I can thank you. It really means a lot to me. And until next time, I'll see you soon.